Hi everyone, I'm Ganesh Jawahar, research engineer at Indria. Today I'll be talking about my work, what does BERT learn about the structure of language. This is a joint work with Benoit Sagot and Jemai Seda, my mentors at Indria. As the title suggests, this work is all about understanding the recent and successful model BERT. So BERT stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. It's a contextualized word embedding model with two different training objectives. So one objective is masked language model objective, where you randomly mask a word in the input and you try to recover that word. And other objective is next sentence prediction, where you have two sentences in the input. You try to predict if both these sentences are consecutive in the corpus or not. And the underlying architecture is transformer. And it's trained on books corpus and Wikipedia, a large amount of English language. So in this work, we focus only on the BERT model trained just on the English language. And regarding the success of BERT, it has actually pushed the state of the art for several NLP tasks by a huge margin. And this could clearly indicate that BERT could learn some structural information about the language. And this is the question we are really interested in this work. Can we map the representations of BERT to linguistic structures that we are familiar with? Doing this has two advantages. One is that we can understand the reason behind the success of BERT and its limitations. And another is that we can systematize the process of improving BERT-like architectures. And there have been several works in this space of interpreting contextualized word embeddings, specifically BERT. So before ACL deadline, there were at least two works, one from Tenay et al. So they initially tried to interpret Elmo model, and their results, they tried to reproduce the experiments for BERT model very recently, actually 2 weeks or so before the ACL deadline. And one of their results is consistent with our result. And then we had one work from Goldberg, which tried to see if BERT actually captures syntactic structure through subject-verb agreement. And since then there have been several works in NACL, in ACL, and in Black Box NLP workshop, and several other submissions probably for NIPS, NeurIPS. And yeah, so we have this. So this clearly shows that this bubbling line of work has received a tremendous amount of attention. And so similar to them, we are also interested in extracting novel and useful insights about BERT representations. And we do a series of experiments trying to see what is encoded. So first, we try to see if we can extract the phrasal information from BERT. Second, we try to see if we can extract a category of different linguistic signals. And third, we try to see if we can see how BERT behaves when on art cases related to subject-verb agreement. And then the final task is about trying to assess the compositional nature of BERT representations. So let's get started with the first experiment, where we try to see if we can extract the phrasal information from a BERT, if it is there and where exactly it is. So following Peters et al. Work, we actually use Conal 2000 chunking dataset, which has chunk level annotations for different words. And we extract the phrase representation from BERT by considering the representation from the first and the last token of the chunk. And now we have the phrase representations, we have the chunk labels, and then we can use tools like t-SNE or clustering to understand what really it is. And so regarding the t-SNE of the initial layers of BERT, we can see that the clusters are really nice. And the phrasal information seems to be captured mostly in the lower layers compared to the higher layers. So we actually work with the BERT base model, which has 12 layers. And this result can be further quantified by doing clustering. So the x-axis corresponds to the number of layers in BERT, and the y-axis corresponds to the normalized mutual information. As you could see, the performance seems to be much higher in the lower layers compared to the higher layers. So this is the observation that phrasal information seems to be captured mostly in the lower layers. Moving to the second experiment, where we go beyond phrasal information, we use the collection of probing data sets from Cuneo et al. They have defined a set of linguistic probing tasks. For example, a simple task could be trying to predict the length of a sentence, given just the embedding that we want to probe for. In this case, we probe a particular BERT layer, and try to see if we can predict that linguistic phenomenon of interest, and if we can train a model to predict the property really well, the assumption is that the feature is indeed encoded in the model. So we use 10 probing tasks categorized into 3 different categories, surface, syntactic, and semantic. So in the interest of time, I wouldn't be able to explain each and every task, but yeah, and we actually follow the terminology from the original authors, though one could argue that, subject number or tense could be a syntactic task rather than a semantic task, but for now we fix to the terminology defined by Conio et al. And now we try to probe each layer of BERT-based model. So we see that the surface feature seems to be captured really well in the lower layers compared to the syntactic features, which seems to be captured nicely. There's a stark contrast between the surface and the syntactic features, but that's not the case for the semantic features. So it's kind of shared between the middle layers and the higher layers. So probably one can argue the same thing, right? The subject number or tense could fall into a syntactic task rather than a semantic task. But the conclusion from this table is that BERT indeed composes a rich hierarchy of linguistic information. And moving on to the third experiment, where we use the subject-verb agreement study originally defined by Linzen et al. And then later adapted to BERT by Goldberg. So the task is very simple. So you're given a sentence, you try to predict the number of the main verb in the sentence. So in this case, it's a binary classification task. You predict if it's a singular or plural. And this task becomes harder if there are more intervening nouns between the main verb and the noun related to the main verb. As you see, there are more intervening nouns, and the task really becomes harder. And the performance seems to be degrading when you increase the number of attractors. The column corresponds to the attractors, which is not surprising. It has to decrease as the task becomes harder. So that's one unsurprising result. And second unsurprising result is that this being a syntactic property seems to be captured in the middle layers, which is consistent with our previous study. But what really surprised us in this experiment is that layer 8 seems to be performing really well when the number of attractors are below 3. And layer 9 seems to be performing really well when the number of attractors went beyond 2 consistently. So, and this gives us one explanation why we need higher layers in BERTs to capture long distance dependencies. So as you increase the number of attractors, the distance between the actual main verb and the noun, increases. And yeah, and moving on to our last experiment, we try to assess the compositional nature of BERT, trying to see how BERT, arrives at the meaning of a phrase from the meaning of its constituents. So for this, we use the tensor product decomposition network from McCoy et al. So it's a highly interpretable network which can explicitly compose the input token representation, and we can choose the role. We can play with different roles and see which one fits the BERT representation really well. So it works in a student-teacher kind of a setting where the student is the TPDN model and the teacher is the BERT model. And we have some pictures from their paper. We can for example, one role could be tree. So for this toy example, so the role token for 6 would be the path from the root to the leaf node, which is right and right. So we learn an embedding for every role, and we try to, the loss is actually a mean square error between the predicted BERT representation and the actual BERT representation. So yeah, so as you could see in the lower layers, the order of composition is mostly linear. And in the higher layers, it's more following the pattern of syntactic structure. So we use the corpus from SNLI, and the parse tree actually comes from Stanford PCFG parser. And that concludes. So these are all the final takeaways from this experiment. And BERT does capture some structural properties of the English language. And yeah, I'd be happy to take some questions.